why human beings are hurt. All people are hurt.
You mean both the physical and the psychological?
Psychological, especially.
Especially the psychological level, yes. Mm-hmm.
Physically, we can tolerate it.
Yes.
We can bear up with a pain and say, well, I won't let it interfere with my thinking. I won't let it corrode my psychological quality of mind. I can watch over it. Mind can watch over that. But the psychological hurts are much more important and difficult to grapple with and understand.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think it is necessary because a mind that is hurt is not an innocent mind.
Mm-hmm.
The very word innocent comes from nuocere, not to hurt. A mind that is incapable of being hurt. And there's a great beauty in that.
Yes, there is. Mm-hmm. It's a marvelous it's a marvelous word. We have usually used it to indicate a lack of something.
I know.
Yes, and there it was turned on upside down again.
And
yes.
Christians have made it such an absurd thing of it.
Yes, I understand that.
So, I think we ought to, in discussing religion, we ought to inquire very, very deeply the nature of hurt. Because if a mind that is not hurt is an innocent mind, and you need this quality of innocence to be so totally attentive.
If I've been following you correctly, I think maybe you would say, wouldn't you, that one becomes hurt when he starts thinking about thinking that he's hurt.
Look, it's much deeper than that, isn't it? From childhood, the parents compare the child with another child.
But that's when that thought arises.
There it is. When you compare, you are hurting.
Yes.
No, we say, but we do it.
Oh, yes, of course, we do it.
Therefore, is it possible to live an educated child without comparison, without imitation, and therefore never get hurt in that way? And one is hurt because one has built an image about oneself. The image which has built about oneself is a form of resistance. A wall between you and me. And when you touch that wall at its tender point, I get hurt. So, not to compare in education, not to have an image about oneself. That's one of the most important things in life, not to have an image about oneself. If you have, you're inevitably going to be hurt. Suppose one has an image that one is very good, or that one should be a great success, or that one has great capacities, gifts, and the images that one builds. Inevitably, you're going to come and prick it. Inevitably, accidents and incidents happen that's going to break that, and one gets hurt.
Doesn't this raise the question of name, the use of name?
Name, form.
The child is given a name. The child identifies himself with a name.
Yes, I can identify, the child can identify itself, but without the image, just a name. Brown. Mr. Brown. Well, there is nothing to it. But the moment he builds an image that Mr. Brown is socially, morally different, superior or inferior, ancient or comes from a very old family, belongs to a certain higher class, aristocracy. Moment that begins, and when that is encouraged and sustained by thought, snobism, the whole of it, then you are inevitably going to be hurt.
Then what you're saying, I take it, is that the radical confusion here is involved in the imagining oneself to be his name.
Yes,
And all
identification with the name, with the body, with the idea of socially different. That your parents, your grandparents were lords or this or that, the whole snobism of England and all that. And different kind of snobism in this country.
We speak in the language of preserving a name.
Yeah, yeah. And in India it is the Brahmin, the non-Brahmin, the whole business of that. So, through education, through tradition, through propaganda, we have built an image about ourselves.
Is there a relation here in terms of religion, would you say, to the refusal, for instance, in Hebraic tradition, to pronounce the name of God?
The name. The word is not the thing anyhow.
Yes.
So you can pronounce it or not pronounce it. No, if you know the word is never the thing, the description is never the described, then it doesn't matter.
No, well, one of the reasons I've always been, over the years, deeply drawn to the study of the roots of words is simply because, for the most part, they point to something very concrete. It's either a thing,
yes,
or it's a gesture. More often than not, it's some act.
Quite.
Some act. When I used the phrase thinking about thinking before, I should have been more careful of my words and referred to mulling over the image, which would have been a much better way to put it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Can a child be educated never to get hurt? And I have heard professors, scholars say, child must be hurt in order to live in the world. And when I asked him, do you want your child to be hurt? He kept absolutely quiet. He was just talking theoretically. Now, unfortunately, through education, through social structure and the nature of our society in which we live, we have been hurt. We have images about ourselves which are going to be hurt. And is it possible not to create images at all? I don't know if I'm making myself...
You are.
That is, suppose I have an image about myself, which I have, unfortunately. If I have an image, is it possible to wipe it away, to understand it, and therefore dissolve it, and never to create a new image about myself? You understand? Living in a society, being educated, I have built an image, inevitably. Now, can that image be wiped away?
Wouldn't it disappear with this complete active attention?
That's what I'm coming to gradually. It would totally disappear. But I must understand how this image is born. I can't just say, well, I'll wipe it out.
Yes, we have to...
Use attention as a means of wiping it out. It doesn't work that way. In understanding the image, in understanding the hurts, in understanding the education in which one has been brought up in the family, the society, all that. In understanding of that, out of that understanding comes the attention. Not attention first and then wipe it out. You can't attend if I'm hurt. If I am hurt, how can I attend? Because that hurt is going to keep me, consciously or unconsciously, from this total attention.
The amazing thing, if I'm understanding you correctly, is that even in the study of the dysfunctional history, provided I bring total attention to that, there's going to be a non-temporal relationship
Absolutely.
between
That's
the
right.
active attention and the healing that takes
Yes.
place.
Yes.
While I am attending,
The thing is
the
living.
thing is leaving.
Yes, that's
Yes,
it.
we've got
That's
inging along here
That's
throughout.
right. That's right.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
So there are two questions involved. Are the hurts, can the hurts be healed so that not a mark is left? And is there a possibility, can future hurts be prevented completely, not without any resistance? You follow?
Mm-hmm.
Those are two problems. And they can be understood only and resolved when I give attention to the understanding of my hurt. When I look at it, not translate it, not wish to wipe them away, just to look at it. As we went into that question of perception, just to see my hurts. The hurts I've received, the insults, the negligence, the the casual word, the gesture, all those hurt. And the language one uses, especially in this country.
Oh, yes, yes. There seems to be a relationship between what you're saying and one of the meanings of the word salvation. To be...
Salvare, to save.
To save.
Save.
To make whole.
To make whole. How can you be whole if you are hurt?
Impossible.
Therefore, it is tremendously important to understand this question.
Yes, it is. But I'm thinking of a child who comes to school who's already got a freight car filled with hurts.
Hurts.
We're not dealing with the little one in the crib now. We're already
hurt.
Already hurt. And hurt because it's hurt. And it multiplies endlessly, doesn't it?
From that hurt, he's violent.
Yes.
From that hurt, he's frightened and therefore withdrawing. From that hurt, he will do neurotic things. From that hurt, he will accept anything that gives him safety. God, his idea of God is a God who will never hurt.
Sometimes a distinction is made between ourselves and animals with respect to this problem. An animal, for instance, that has been badly hurt will be disposed toward everyone in terms of emergency and attack. But over a period of time, it might take 3-4 years, if the animal is loved. And
so, sir, you see, you said love. We haven't got that.
No.
I mean, the parents haven't got love for their children. They may talk about love. Because the moment they compare the younger to the older, they have hurt the child.
Yes.
Your father was so clever. You are such a stupid boy. There you begun. In schools, when they give you marks, it's a hurt, not marks, it's a deliberate hurt. And that is stored. And from that, there is violence, there is every kind of aggression, all that takes place. So how can a mind cannot be made whole or is whole unless this is understood very, very deeply.